So, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be doing something a little different, which is a bit of a frequently asked questions or an ask me anything that I did on Instagram, and now I'm going to be responding here on YouTube. So, without further ado, let's get started. First question is, how can I get safely into swooping without being the guy that hurts himself on a low turn? What I said to him is, every safe proficient swooper has a good mentor or coach, yeah, and that's pretty much it. If you have a good mentor or a good coach, they're going to put you more or less on the right track, and most importantly, they're going to slow you down, because you're really going to go faster and faster and faster, and be on your proficiency level, and you're you want to be going outside of your comfort zone. So yeah, definitely getting a coach is the way to go. And of course, not getting out of your comfort zone too much. Some sports you do need to get out of your comfort zone to progress. Swooping is not one of them. Next up, who is your coach? My coach is Carlos Faustino. He's the best Portuguese coach out there. How to become a tandem camera? Pretty simple. Usually what happens is someone is already, a fun jumper in that drop zone. They jump there quite a lot, and eventually they will start, really doing a bunch of camera jumps specifically as a cameraman, whether it's filming formations, whether it's filming just someone doing some random free-flying things, and eventually you'll be friends with one or two tandem instructors, and they'll probably let you do one jump with them once you have a bunch of dedicated jumps doing camera, not just with a camera on your head, actually being a camera flyer. Of course, you'll get briefed by the instructor, and he's going to be an experienced instructor, of course, and you'll do your first jump with him. And eventually, if you're a good friends with some of the DZ staff, and preferably with the DZ owner, he'll probably start letting you do some jumps for free, and eventually we'll start getting paid. How was I able to pay for skydiving before I was sponsored? Well, pretty easy. You got to work in the sport. I've been working in skydiving since I'm 12 years old. First editing videos, afterwards packing parachutes, first fun jumpers, then students, then tandems, and of course eventually becoming a skydiver, which was a bit of a period where my parents really helped me with that, because I helped them in the past, and eventually once I started doing camera flying and coaching and all that, it's all just started to pay for itself, but definitely with a lot of help from my parents. What do I think of the Mutant harness? Well, it's definitely the future of CP, in my opinion. Canopy piloting is a very young sport. It doesn't have a lot of the little quirks that the other sports have acquired, and it's a sport solely based on speed. And you can, of course, make yourself more aerodynamic and all that, but the best way to go is to really just make your footprint as small as possible. And the Mutant harness does that. And what it also does is it creates a super sensitive position, where the way you're sitting, it's really easy to control the canopy. Also, it makes your recovery arc actually shorter, because the length from the wing to your body is shorter, so the recovery arc is going to be a little bit shorter, meaning less time during the recovery arc, meaning less energy lost due to air resistance. So definitely I think it's the future of canopy piloting. Maybe we'll start seeing even multiple types of rigs being used in competition, which we are already seeing, but one for zone accuracy, one for speed, and one for distance. But definitely the Mutant is going to have a place in skydiving in the future. Camera wings, yes or no? Well, in my opinion, I think you don't need them. I mean, if you're like someone who is already heavy, if you're heavy, and you're doing super mega ultra important jumps where if for some reason you miss, it's your life in the line or something, then yes, you probably should be wearing wings. But if you're just starting out on canopy on camera flying, you're not going to be filming anything that's life or death. You're going to be filming things that if you fail, it's okay. And I think it's more important for you to learn how to fly your body than to be wearing wings and getting used to them. And then when you're going to be learning two types of flight at the same time, and because you don't have a lot of experience, it's probably not going to influence your progression really well. But yeah, if you're doing like tandems and you have a lot of experience, then you're getting all sorts of people. For instance, you can get a 40-kilogram lady where you need to be on your belly with the wings, and then you're getting a 100-kilogram dude where you need to be sitting or standing up with the wings as well. Then yeah, you probably should be wearing wings. If you're just filming your friends and you're learning and you're starting out on camera flying, you probably just can get along with like a large jacket, which like a very loose shirt, which is what I do. I actually use a sweatshirt with like just two little pieces of string of parachute line, macro line attached to my waist with like RSL clips, and it's worked out so far. Do you own any Leias or just Petra and JVX? I basically only jump Petras because I don't mind the openings. The way I pack doesn't give me bad openings, but with the way that my training has been going lately, where I'm mostly training with full weights on 16 kilograms. Probably just jumping the Petra isn't going to be too beneficial anymore. It used to be because I was jumping the same wing loadings in competition and in my day-to-day jumping. Now, because I'm going to start using higher and higher wing loadings, I'm not going to be filming tandems and doing free fly jumps with a 16 kilograms of weights. So I'm not going to be training during free fly jumps. And since I'm not training, I might as well start, learning how to freestyle on a Leia, and most importantly, getting better openings, not getting cutaways because I'm using a highly loaded Petra. So for now, what I can tell you is I'm jumping my 62 mostly and my 67 for training and hop and pops, but it's probably going to change once I get a Leia. My JVX, yes, I love it. I have two JVXs, a 69 and a 56. The 56, of course, it used to be fun for XRW. It's still a super fun canopy to jump once in a while, just because it's so small, so tiny. But the 69, I use it when I really, really need a good fast opening. Well, yeah, a JVX has a good fast opening. It's a modified slider. It's really not, usually what you will hear JVX being used for good openings, but it does land in a pinch, meaning that it has a good flight. It's not too sensitive, but it's also not too slow. And also, it has good openings, at least mine one it has with a modified slider. When did you start jumping crossed brace canopies? My first jump on a velo was at 700 jumps. It's when the first time I jumped with a velocity, which was my first cross brace canopy, a 96 velocity. Advice for someone trying to get sponsorship: I want to take my swooping competitive. So to get sponsored, I'm not anyone like I'm not super proficient at getting sponsored. I just But what you have to do is you have to stand out. You don't need to have the most medals. You don't need to have the longest swoops. No, you just need to stand out. Companies, they want you to sell their product. They don't want you to win. It doesn't matter if you're the champion if you don't sell stuff. So first of all, you got to stand out. You have to stand out. You cannot be just another swooper. You have to be, these days you have to be everything. You have to be multi-rated. You have to do a little bit of everything. That's what they want. So that's what you have to be. You don't have to be good at what you do. You have to be good at what the sponsor wants you to do. And if the sponsor wants you to sell their product, you got to be good at selling their product. And also you got to be good at a little bit of every discipline, because skydiving has so many little disciplines. It's easy to get lost in just one. So yeah, definitely be good in multiple disciplines. Be definitely the most important piece of advice I can give you is you have to be good with media. Media is the most important, all forms of media, whether it's editing videos, editing photos, taking pictures, taking video. You have to be good at it, because that's the way sponsors communicate with their clients. So you need to have the best pictures around, the best videos around. Everything needs to be top quality, the best. And of course, they say, oh, video isn't the most important. And some people mock me by saying, oh, Gonzalo, he's like, if it didn't happen, if it's not on video, it's because it didn't happen. Well, that's basically my life. If it's not on video, it didn't happen. So definitely, yeah, you need to have the best quality footage of your bunch. And you gotta be unique. You gotta be unique in your country. You gotta be unique in what you do, whether you're the oldest, the youngest, the best, even the worst sometimes. But just try to stand out, and of course, be likable. People need to like you. If you're horrible, you're not gonna get sponsored. Did you get any sponsorship for Canopy piloting? If so, how? Well, I do have a Canopy piloting sponsor, which is Icarus Canopies, and they sponsor wings. So, yeah, what you need to do to get sponsored by specifically a Canopy company is, and I think this is something really specific for Canopies only, because Canopy manufacturers require a little bit of a different type of athlete. You need to be a good pilot, of course. Don't expect to get sponsored if you're falling in every landing on your ass. But you need to have a lot of knowledge, and you need to know a lot about the company. You need to know a lot about Canopies, and you need to be, of course, a good pilot and a good teacher. Definitely, knowledge is key in this specific type of sponsorship. Of course, along with all the other things I mentioned, you have to be knowledgeable, because when people are choosing a wing, they're looking for someone knowledgeable that can help them make that decision. And of course, if you don't seem knowledgeable, they're going to notice it, and they're definitely not going to want your help. Sponsors are going to look at everything, and they're going to look at your Facebook, your Instagram. They want to know if you're a knowledgeable person or if you're just someone who happens to jump their Canopy brand, and definitely being knowledgeable does help. Next question is, can you practice flaring on a small wingsuit, Arbird? Or is it too small to learn? No wingsuit is too small to do flares, let alone to practice them. I wonder, the first suits you're wearing, you should be starting to at least practice flaring in your fifth jump, like at the latest your fifth jump, because you really shouldn't be opening in full flight. I assume you're just kind of slowing down and arching a little bit and giving a little bit of your chest to the wind just to slow your horizontal momentum up, down a little bit, and that's how you're pulling. Definitely you should try to start flaring your suit. Every suit can be flared because every suit has, unless it's like a really old one where it's basically a wings jacket. If you have a suit that pressurizes, it means it has an airfoil shape. If it has an airfoil shape, whether it's a lot or not a lot, it's going to be doing a little bit of flaring because it's using that aerodynamic advantage to actually create lift. Even if it's not a lot of lift and it's not enough to actually make you go into a full-on parabola where you come to a dead stop and then you restart, where with a freak you actually go up, and with those big suits, with a small suit you might not actually go up, you might not even actually stop, but definitely you should be practicing because you're creating lift, and that movement and that muscle memory that you're creating by doing a practice flare that's not very powerful, it's going to help you once you progress onto later suits, bigger suits, of course. It means that when you start jumping bigger suits, you're not going to be losing your time practicing flares from the zero with no knowledge, because you already have a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of the muscle memory after doing some flares. How many jumps do I do per year? Usually it's 900. With COVID, it's been like, last year was, I think, 700, so not a lot, but 900 is my average. Next up, where did I get so much style, so much swag? I'm a natural born swagger. If you could only afford one wing for all 3 swoop events, what size and wing loading would you choose? I have already done competitions with only one wing, so I can answer this question pretty easily. It would be definitely a Petra, but it would be like a Petra, I'm gonna say big because, I'm gonna say 67, and I'm gonna be like, it's a 67, but it's really not big because I'm 67 kilograms, so I'm not really loading it that much. I'm loading it at 2.4, 2.5. So I would say the perfect wing loading would be a Petra at 2.6. If you're gonna do all events, if you could have one for zone accuracy, then I would say 2.8. Simply because most times in competitions they're trying to get you to do speed runs and distance runs in downwind. So I would probably recommend a 2.8 if you wanted to do speed and distance. Now, if you can only have one wing for all disciplines, it's gonna have to be a Petra at 2.6. Of course, you're gonna be a little fast on the downwinders. If you're doing zone accuracy, you're gonna be definitely really slow. If you're having nil wind or even upwind speeds, you're gonna be done. You're done for. Especially because for most people that wing is gonna be quite big. For me it's a 67, for you might be a 75. So yeah, you're probably going to have like 3 seconds, almost 4 seconds when you're doing speed, upwind. And the distance, of course, you're doing upwind distance, you're also not going to have a lot of, you're not going to be having a lot of points there. But if you're getting downwinds for distance, for instance, you can go far. Of course, if you want to go the gung-ho way, just get a 3.0 wing loading, and for zone accuracy, just crash the course. You're probably going to be able to compensate for that loss in distance and speed. But my verdict is 2.6 Petra. Can you start a swoop progression with too light of a wing loading? Nope, you're still going to learn something. Swoop progression isn't just about doing turns and doing 360s and doing swoops. Swoop progression has much more to do with what you're doing in the sky rather than what wing you're jumping. You can start too soon, meaning experience and jump number, but you can never start too light. Even if you're jumping a 260 square foot canopy and you have 200 jumps, there are some exercises that are going to help you, not directly in swooping, but they're going to help you guarantee that you swoop more frequently. For instance, practicing your approaches, practicing your patterns, practicing your circuits, all of that is going to help you indirectly being a better swooper, because it means you're going to be learning already a skill that you need for competitions and that you need for training and that you need for your day-to-day swoop life. And you're going to be swooping more often if you're really good at doing your circuit, because you're going to lose, when you're learning, you're going to lose a bunch of swoops because you can't get to your point, to your turn. So if you can get to that point more consistently, means you're going to be swooping more frequently, meaning you're going to be learning better. So yes, in fact, you can learn to swoop directly or indirectly at all wing loadings. Doesn't matter. What does matter is if you're starting too soon in terms of experience, you're not only severely hindering your swoop career, but you might also get hurt. There are a lot of things to learn on the way to being a good swooper, so you got to learn what's relevant to your own experience. Best way to learn head down on the wind tunnel, definitely. But on the sky, with all seriousness, is two-way head down exits, doing like a gripped star, or a gripped flower exit, two-way head down, gripped flower exit. I think that's what you call them. They're definitely the best way to start doing your head down, because the person doing head down with you is probably going to be someone who already knows, should be someone who already knows, and they're going to help you. They're gonna kind of gonna act like your gyroscope. They're gonna align your shoulders, because they're holding you by the hands. They're gonna align your shoulders with the relative wind, so that you're flying head down, and then you just gotta start controlling your legs a little bit. Your arms are gonna be fixed. Once after 5 jumps, they're gonna let go, and if you stay in that position, you're probably gonna stay in head down, and eventually you'll start getting better and more used to the position. Next thing you know it, you're flying head down. Next question: what happens if you have to land off zone with your Petra? Would you cut it away? Nope. I wouldn't cut away my Petra only if it wants to kill me, because if I cut away and I lose it, it's going to be a pretty expensive cutaway. No, I don't cut away. I have to land it. The Petra can be landed in quite small of an area. I have never landed my Petra in any sketchy places. I have landed the Velocity 79 in a very, very, very small, like, little square, and I should have the video. If it's not playing, it means I don't have the video. If I have the video, it's playing right now. So no, you don't cut away. You're simply not going to cut away, because you're going to be trying to look for a big landing area until you land. And if you're going to cut away, it means you're probably, like, already too late. Let's say if I see that I'm going to land in, like, barbed wire, I'll probably cut away. But you're not going to have huge fields of barbed wire, are you? So you're probably going to have, like, 2 options. One is really good, and one is something you're trying to avoid. If you do land on that thing you're trying to avoid, it's a mistake you did seconds before you land, so you wouldn't have time to cut away anyway. So no, I will never cut away my Petra for an outside landing. Maybe in Algarve, but because they have sketchy landings, outside landings, but not in Evora. In Evora, where I jump, the outside landings are better than the inside landings. So yeah. Is it a good idea to jump with pain issues? I'm not a physician. I think not. I think you shouldn't jump with pain issues. Depends. If it's back pain, you're definitely gonna be, punishing yourself skydiving with back pain. My coach Carlos Faustino, he has a lot of back problems. He has done surgery to his back twice. He still jumps. He has like bolts and stuff on his back, and he jumps. But if you have like chronic pain, like chronic muscular pain, chronic bone pain, whatever, it's probably not going to be a good idea for you to be jumping. But talk to your physician, talk to your doctor. He can help you with that, well, way better than I can. Do you base jump, or would you? I don't. I would. I just don't want to get hurt. If I get hurt base jumping, even if I just like break one finger, I'm not gonna be skydiving for like 3 months, and I'm gonna be super mad at myself for being hurt base jumping and not skydiving. Like, I'm gonna be delaying my progression just because I was base jumping, and base jumping doesn't give me anything. If I get hurt skydiving, I'm skydiving. I'm doing what's my job. I'm doing what's my career. But if I get hurt base jumping, I'm just getting hurt because I was doing something stupid that I shouldn't be doing. Eventually, I will, because I've always wanted since I was a little kid. But I got time. So those were all the questions I got, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or complimentary information you would like to add, you can do so in the comment section down below. And I'll see you next time.